Imagine a civilization so advanced it could move stones weighing over 80 tons, without cranes, without iron, without modern machinery. For centuries, the Great Pyramids of Egypt have stood as the ultimate enigma of human history. But what if everything we've been told is wrong? What if the real story of how the pyramids were built isn't about slaves and sweat, but about secrets lost to time, secrets that challenge everything we know about ancient technology? From mysterious alignments to unexplainable precision, this isn't just history, it's a code carved in stone, waiting to be cracked. Tonight, we journey deep into the sands of Egypt to uncover the truth that has been buried for over 4,000 years. Beneath the golden sun of the Giza Plateau, three colossal sentinels pierce the horizon. The pyramids, majestic, timeless, defiant. They have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the shifting sands of centuries, and the unending curiosity of mankind. But while their beauty is unquestionable, their origin remains shrouded in mystery. How could an ancient civilization, armed with primitive tools, achieve an architectural feat so precise it rivals modern engineering? Were these monuments merely tombs of kings, or something far more profound? In this journey, we peel back the layers of myth, legend, and science to reveal the astonishing truth behind the greatest mystery ever built by human hands. Before we uncover the ancient secrets hidden within the stones of the pyramids, make sure you subscribe to History Vault and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear will forever change how you see human history. Under the burning Egyptian sun, the sands of Giza stretch endlessly, whispering secrets from a time long forgotten. Out of this endless desert rise the Great Pyramids, colossal, immovable, eternal. For over 4,500 years, they have stood as the greatest enigma in human history. Even now, in the age of machines, satellites, and quantum computing, we cannot fully explain how they were built. And the deeper we dig into their story, the more impossible the truth becomes. The Great Pyramid of Giza, also known as the Pyramid of Khufu, is a masterpiece of architecture and mystery. Built around 2560 BC, it was the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years, a record unbroken until the Eiffel Tower in 1889. But this is not just a tale of stones and sand. This is a story of perfection. Each of the 2.3 million limestone and granite blocks that form the pyramid fits with surgical precision, so tight that not even a blade of grass or a single sheet of paper can pass between them. Some of these stones weigh as much as 80 tons, yet they were lifted in position with mathematical accuracy that baffles modern engineers. The base covers over 13 acres, yet every side is perfectly aligned to the cardinal directions, within a fraction of a single degree. The entire structure deviates less than 1 inch from perfect square alignment. For an ancient civilization without lasers, cranes, or steel tools, that level of precision seems otherworldly. According to conventional archaeology, tens of thousands of laborers, not slaves, but skilled workers, spent decades hauling these stones up massive ramps using ropes, pulleys, and wooden sledges. It's an explanation repeated in textbooks and museums around the world. But when we begin to analyze the logistics, the story begins to crumble. To complete the pyramid in 20 years, the builders would have had to cut, transport, and place one block every 2 minutes, day and night, without rest, for 2 straight decades. There are no written record describing this process, no construction blueprints, no tools left behind capable of cutting the hardest granite used in the king's chamber. The very civilization that recorded every detail of life, from taxes to harvest, left not a single word explaining how they built the greatest monument in human history. And then there's the mystery of the ramps. The theory suggests that enormous mud brick ramps were used to drag the stones upward. But where are they? A ramp large enough to reach the pyramid's summit would have required more material than the pyramid itself. When the structure was finished, the ramps would have been dismantled, but there is no archaeological evidence of such an immense undertaking. Not one trace of a ramp that could handle stones of such magnitude has ever been found at Giza. In 2018, archaeologists uncovered something fascinating at the Hat Nub Alabaster Quarries, remnants of a steep ramp system with post holes and staircases on both sides. Some suggested this was a breakthrough, evidence that Egyptians used an ingenious system of ropes and pulleys to hold blocks upward. But even this design could not explain the precise placement or perfect symmetry of the pyramid stones. Then, there's the riddle of alignment. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with astonishing accuracy, off by only 1/15 of a single degree. Modern engineers, using advanced GPS, lasers, and satellites, struggle to achieve that precision. How did ancient builders, with only simple tools, achieve what seems almost impossible? Some researchers believe they used the stars, particularly the circumpolar constellations. By tracking their movements, the builders could have established true north. But even if that's true, the question remains, how did they translate cosmic observations into a structure that weighs 6 million tons and stands nearly 500 feet tall with mathematical perfection? The deeper we go, the more the pyramid reveals its secrets and its anomalies. Its sides curve slightly inward, giving it a subtle concavity visible only from above, a feature discovered by modern aerial photography. This curvature allows the pyramid to maintain perfect optical symmetry from the ground. It's a design element that modern architects consider revolutionary. Yet, it was achieved by a civilization over 4,000 years ago. Even more mysterious are the proportions themselves. The pyramid's height and base dimensions encode the mathematical constant pi, and the golden ratio phi, both considered symbols of divine harmony and balance. The ratio of its perimeter to its height equals 2 pi, the same formula used to calculate the circumference of a circle. Coincidence? Or was it deliberate, a reflection of cosmic order? If so, how did ancient Egyptians, supposedly with no concept of advanced mathematics, geometry, or precision instruments, achieve such perfection? Were these numbers an accident, or were they encoded intentionally as part of a sacred design? Some theorists believe the Great Pyramid was built not just as a tomb, but as a symbol of knowledge, a monument designed to preserve mathematical and cosmic truths for future civilizations. Others go further, suggesting it was never meant as a tomb at all, but as something far more advanced, an energy device, an astronomical observatory, or even a resonance chamber that harnessed the Earth's natural frequencies. Whatever its true purpose, one thing is undeniable. The builders of the Great Pyramid possess a level of knowledge that surpasses what we attribute to their time. Their understanding of astronomy, geometry, and engineering hints at a legacy that may not have originated with them, but with an earlier civilization, one now lost to the sands of history. As the golden sun sinks behind the horizon, the Great Pyramid casts its colossal shadow across the desert. Its angles align with the stars above, reflecting the heavens onto the earth. The stones themselves seem to hum with silent power, a timeless rhythm that echoes across eternity. And in that moment, as night descends and the air cools, you begin to feel it, the sense that the pyramid is not just a monument, but a message left behind by those who knew something the modern world has long forgotten. Perhaps, within its perfectly cut stones and flawless symmetry, lies the key to a truth so profound that it could rewrite everything we think we know about the history of humankind. What if the ancient Egyptians weren't just builders, but scientists, engineers of the impossible, mathematicians of the cosmos, and masters of energies we've yet to rediscover? What if, buried beneath the sands of time, lies evidence that their knowledge was not born from trial and error, but inherited from something far older and far more advanced? For centuries, we've marveled at their monuments, colossal statues, towering obelisks, and pyramids that defy logic. But what if these were not just symbols of power, but remnants of lost technologies, tools of an ancient science that once harnessed forces beyond our understanding? In the Temple of Abydos, etched deep into stone, lie the most controversial hieroglyphs in all of Egypt. Among the carvings of pharaohs and gods are shapes that resemble unmistakably modern machines, a helicopter, a submarine, even what looks like a futuristic aircraft. Egyptologists dismiss these as palimpsest, accidental overlaps of older inscriptions. But others, independent researchers, physicists, and architects, ask a far more unsettling question. How could coincidences create designs so precise, so eerily familiar to modern technology? If these images are not coincidences, then perhaps they are echoes of a civilization that remembered technologies from a forgotten age. The deeper we look into ancient Egyptian architecture, the more anomalies we uncover. In the Great Pyramid's king's chamber, a small granite box lies perfectly aligned within a space that resonates with unusual frequencies. When sound waves are introduced, the room vibrates in harmonic unity, amplifying certain tones while canceling others. It behaves not like a tomb, but like an acoustic device. Could the ancient Egyptians have understood sound as a form of energy, capable of moving matter, shaping stone, even levitating objects? Across ancient cultures, from Tibet to South America, legends speak of tones that could lift rocks or shatter them like glass. Was sound the lost key that moved the massive stones of the pyramids into place? Not brute force, but resonance? In 1997, researchers studying the acoustic behavior of the Great Pyramid found that the Grand Gallery and King's Chamber were tuned to specific frequencies that matched the natural vibrations of the Earth itself. The possibility arises that the pyramid acted as a resonance chamber, amplifying planetary energy through vibration, geometry, and magnetic alignment. To skeptics, this may sound impossible. Yet even modern science acknowledges the power of resonance, the ability of sound to manipulate energy and structure. Could the ancient Egyptians have discovered this principle millennia before us? Then comes another mystery, the stones themselves. Geologists studying the limestone blocks of the Great Pyramid found unusual properties in their microstructure. Some blocks appear not to be quarried at all, but formed from a kind of reconstituted stone. French chemist Joseph Davidovit proposed that the Egyptians had mastered geopolymer chemistry, essentially creating early concrete using natural minerals, lime, and water. If true, this would mean they weren't hauling millions of tons of rock across miles of desert. They were pouring it in molds right on site. Modern experiments have replicated this theory with surprising success. But this revelation raises a bigger question. How could such advanced chemical engineering exist 4,000 years ago, long before modern science? Perhaps the answer lies not in Egyptian invention, but in Egyptian inheritance. Ancient texts speak of the Shemsuhor, the followers of Horus, mysterious beings said to have ruled before the pharaohs. They possessed knowledge of astronomy, geometry, and sacred building. They were said to have come from the stars. Who were these beings? Myths call them gods. Historians call them myths. But what if they were neither? What if they were the survivors of a lost civilization, one that vanished after a global cataclysm, leaving only fragments of their wisdom behind? Plato's writings describe the fall of Atlantis, a powerful island civilization destroyed by floods and earthquakes. According to Egyptian priests, Atlantis wasn't a myth but a memory, passed down from survivors who arrived on their shores, bringing with them knowledge of the stars and sacred geometry. Could these refugees have taught early Egyptians the art of pyramid building, astronomy, and advanced mathematics? Some researchers point to the Sphinx as evidence. Geological studies reveal deep erosion marks on its body, patterns caused not by wind, but by heavy rainfall. Yet the Giza Plateau has been arid for over 9,000 years. That means the Sphinx might predate the dynastic Egyptians by thousands of years, back to a time before recorded history, a time when a different world existed. And it's not just Egypt. Across the planet, from the megaliths of Baalbek to the precise stonework of Machu Picchu, we find monuments carved with techniques that seem far beyond the capability of their time. In Peru, enormous blocks fit together with interlocking perfection, as if softened and fused, much like the stones at Giza. Across continents, the same patterns repeat. Similar engineering, similar alignments, similar myths of gods descending from the heavens to teach humanity how to build. Coincidence? Or connection? What if these ancient builders shared a common origin, a prehistoric civilization whose knowledge once spanned the earth, one that was wiped out, but whose teachings survive in fragments, in Egypt, Sumer, the Indus Valley, and the Andes? If that were true, then the Great Pyramid might not just be an Egyptian monument, but a global message, a code from the ancient world, carved in stone, whispering that humanity's story didn't begin in the Nile Valley, but much, much earlier. A civilization that measured the Earth's curvature, encoded pi and the golden ratio, and aligned monuments to celestial patterns, not through superstition, but through scientific precision. They understood the Earth as part of a living, resonant system, and they built monuments not to gods, but to knowledge itself. Today, as the wind howls through the Giza Plateau and the stars rise above the pyramids exactly as they did millennia ago, one can't help but wonder, what if we are the ones who have forgotten? What if, in the vast silence of time, we have only rediscovered fragments of a science the ancients once mastered? Perhaps the real mystery of Egypt isn't that they achieved the impossible, but that they remembered how. Beneath the golden sands of Egypt lies a second world, a hidden realm untouched by time, where the wind whispers over buried cities and lost chambers still pulse with unanswered questions. Every grain of sand here hides a story, and every story points to one truth. The ancient Egyptians may have left us messages they never intended us to find, until now. In 2015, a group of researchers from Cairo University made an astonishing discovery using thermal imaging technology. As they scanned the Great Pyramid during the cool desert night, 3 of its massive stones glowed hotter than the others. Something beneath them was radiating heat, as if the pyramid itself was alive. The data revealed voids, mysterious empty spaces, running deep inside the structure, unrecorded in any blueprint or ancient text. One of them was colossal, stretching almost the length of an airplane. Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities called it the Big Void. Its purpose? Unknown. Its contents? Sealed away for over 4,000 years. Was it a hidden chamber, a forgotten tomb, or something far more complex, perhaps the heart of a machine that once powered or amplified unseen forces? Some researchers speculate the Great Pyramid was never meant to be a tomb at all, but a form of ancient energy generator, a geophysical device harnessing the Earth's natural vibrations. It sounds like science fiction, until you realize that the pyramid's layout mirrors patterns found in modern resonance chambers. The shaft that aligned with stars may have served not just symbolic purposes, but scientific ones, acting as waveguides or conduits of electromagnetic energy. Even Nikola Tesla, the father of modern electricity, was fascinated by this idea. He studied the geometry of the Great Pyramid and its alignment with magnetic nodes of the Earth, convinced that the ancients had understood wireless energy transmission long before modern technology rediscovered it. But how much of Egypt still lies buried? Ground-penetrating radar has revealed an underground labyrinth stretching beneath the sands near Hawara, vast networks of tunnels and chambers described by ancient historians like Herodotus, who claimed to have seen 1,000 rooms filled with hieroglyphs. For centuries, this labyrinth was dismissed as myth. But satellite images and subsurface scans now hint that the ancient chroniclers may have been telling the truth all along. If uncovered, this labyrinth could rewrite everything we know about Egyptian civilization. It may contain archives, devices, or relics that explain how the pyramids were built, who taught them, and why their knowledge suddenly vanished. Even more chilling are the discoveries around the Giza Plateau. Researchers have found entrances beneath the Sphinx, sealed tunnels that lead downward into the bedrock. Egyptian texts once spoke of the Hall of Records, a mythical chamber said to hold the wisdom of a lost civilization that predated Egypt itself. Many dismiss it as legend, until modern technology began to reveal subterranean voids that fit its description. Could the Hall of Records actually exist? If so, what's inside might not just rewrite history, it could redefine humanity's origins. But here lies the paradox. Despite decades of evidence suggesting hidden structures beneath Giza, official excavations are restricted. The Egyptian government has repeatedly denied access to certain zones, citing preservation concerns. Yet independent explorers and whistleblowers claim something more, that the discoveries made there are far too shocking to reveal publicly. Conspiracy or caution? We may never know. Still, new clues continue to surface. In 2020, archaeologists in Saqqara unearthed dozens of sealed sarcophagi, perfectly preserved, untouched for over 2 millennia. Their colors, engravings, and even the linen wrappings were intact. How could such preservation exist in a climate known for decay? Some scientists suggest advanced mummification chemistry far beyond what we thought ancient Egyptians possessed. Even more mystifying was a recent discovery near Abydos, a colossal underground structure made of granite, precision-cut, and weighing hundreds of tons. The surfaces are machine-smooth, polished to a microscopic perfection that cannot be replicated by simple copper tools. Whatever built this did so with instruments we have yet to rediscover. As the sands shift, satellite imagery keeps revealing more anomalies. Strange geometric outlines, ancient foundations buried deep below dunes, and perfectly circular depressions suggesting collapsed domes or chambers. Could these be the ruins of pre-dynastic civilizations, buried beneath thousands of years of Nile sediment and desert expansion? One anomaly stands out among them, a vast rectangular outline hidden under the sand, roughly 1.5 kilometers from the Great Pyramid. The data shows corridors leading toward it from multiple directions, as if Giza's structures were all connected, forming a unified network, like the circuitry of a colossal device. If this is true, then Egypt was not merely a kingdom of stone. It was a system, a planetary-scale design, a relic of something once far greater. Even the River Nile's ancient course, when mapped against pyramid locations, forms a striking resemblance to the Orion constellation mirrored on Earth, a cosmic alignment that some believe acted as an energy grid connecting temples and pyramids through geomagnetic resonance. The Egyptians, it seems, didn't just build monuments, they tuned the Earth itself. But perhaps the greatest secret is not what's buried, it's why. Why were so many of these discoveries hidden? Why do ancient texts speak in riddles about guardians of knowledge, about keepers of the underworld who protect sacred truths until humanity is ready to understand them? Could it be that the ancients foresaw a future when mankind would forget, when their wisdom would be buried by time, and left behind clues encoded in geometry, mathematics, and architecture, waiting for us to rediscover them? Every day, as the desert winds uncover fragments of statues, temples, and scrolls, we inch closer to an answer. And yet, the more we learn, the less we truly understand. Because beneath the sands of Egypt lies something more than history. It is memory. It is a warning. It is a question carved in stone, a question that echoes through time. Who built these monuments? And what were they really trying to tell us? As the night falls over Giza and the stars shimmer above the pyramids, the ancient monuments seem to come alive, glowing faintly under the desert moon, whispering secret the world still isn't ready to hear. Perhaps, just beneath our feet, in a chamber still sealed and silent, lies a final truth, one that could expose the real story of our past and the incredible forces that shaped it. And as the echoes of forgotten civilizations drift across the dunes, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. History is not what we've been told, it's what has been left behind.